Rayna UI. So Rayna UI actually is a user interface kit and design system for Figma. It actually makes it very easy for you to kickstart and complete your design project. So basically, Rayna UI is your design body, and trust me, it is the next big deal for designers. So over the past few weeks, we have seen how powerful Rayna UI is in terms of, creating dashboards, creating mobile apps with components and everything. So today will not be an exception. Today is actually one of those days where we'll get to understand how powerful, and we'll get to see how powerful Rayna UI is. So we would go straight in to introduce our guest of honor today. I'm sure he's a very familiar face for most of us. So we have John Ogaga. You can see his bio being presented. John, I don't know why you're laughing actually. So please, can you hear me? Can you just kindly unmute your mic and say hi? And while you're saying hi, could you please introduce yourself beyond your bio so that we can get to know you?
My name is Ogaga John. Ogaga is my first name and my actual name, and it is not my nickname. I promise you, it is my actual name. So my name is Ogaga, and like you all know, I am a product designer like most of you here. And I like to identify myself as a collaborative and selfless designer. I have a thing for, good visual aesthetics and aesthetics that are also very functional. Outside of design, I believe I'm very jovial, and I like to play a lot. When I'm not designing, I am reading a book, and I spend 80% of my time in the gym. Needless to say, I also enjoy building products. Currently, I have been a part of 3 products now. One of them is DesignWithMe. Another one is Synthera, and the third one is CraftTrack. I enjoy building products because I like solving problems, and I also want to be hands-on in seeing what it's like to, manage teams, run a startup, and the likes. So on this call, I'm actually going to be just doing a quick session where we design together. Yeah, a simple, UI, and yes, I hope we get to have fun together. I hope that's enough bio.
Yeah, we've actually heard from John, and now we've understood how his background is. I'm sorry I did not actually hear his explanation because I'm usually curious on how people introduce themselves beyond their bio. But then we would move on from here. Move on. So for today, we are going to be designing with Rayna UI as a guide, as a toolkit.
First off, give me a second. Okay. Yeah, so first off, you notice that I already have like a couple of screenshots and everything on my Figma. I wanted to speed up the process a little bit, so I did this beforehand. But now that we're here, let me walk you through what I did. So first of all, going to be doing a web dashboard, something in that light. And I would like to push myself. I want to see if I can also design a hero section of a landing page. I just want to see if I can actually do that, for fingers crossed. So anyways, so what are we going to be designing? To be honest, I don't really exactly know myself. So what I do know that the focus is for this call, or rather this session rather, is that it's going to be more UI centric. Because I'm assuming this is not a session that we'll have to go through breaking down the brief and all those, plenty process. So I'm just going to speed into designing the UI as it is right here, right now. And I'm also going to be using the Rayna UI component library system to help me with that. And you're also going to see how I work with that. So what I usually do is, because a solo designer, now I'm designing from the point of being a solo designer when we're working with freelance clients here and there and what's not. If you have access to teams, let's say you belong to a team, I have access to a team, using Rayna library can be a lot more easier, because all you just have to do is embed the component library from assets into your Figma file. But if you don't have like a payment access to it, you can't actually do that. So what I usually do is I usually have a tab on my Figma open that is Rayna, where I have access to every single thing, and then the tab that I'm designing on or working in is open beside it most of the time. and I will be taking components from there and working through the entire process. So that's basically how it is. Now, if you're new to Rayna, simple, you can get it from Figma component library. Rather, you can get it from the Figma community, or you just need to search is Rayna UI, or you can head over to Rayna's UI Twitter, and you have access to the website. Then from there you can get the entire thing for yourself. But once you get it, just quick thing, if you're new to using libraries, I really highly recommend you go through this documentation, the tutorials for beginners, best practices, working with variant, and just read through this as well to have an understanding on how to actually use it. If you have any question, you can send a DM on Twitter. It is actually linked. So you can send Rayna your DM on Twitter, and Rayna will be happy to answer your question. So moving on from here anyway, let's actually get started. So first off, how did I even have all these screenshots? So let me just give you guys a quick rundown, quick walkthrough. So what I usually do when it comes to it's time for me to design stuff. I first go to DesignWiz. DesignWiz is actually one of the products that I built and worked on. Basically, it's a library and a house. Think of it as a library or a house for design tips, resources, and anything searchable. Yeah. So once you head over to DesignWiz, mydesignwiz.com, you can find tips, you can find tutorials, you can find resources, and you can actually join our newsletter to have access to a lot of all these other things. But now, let's dive deep. I'm signed in currently, so I'm going to head over to my bookmark section and walk you guys through what I actually have done. Yeah. So I have two main guys I usually go to when it comes to looking for inspirations on web-related projects. First is Mobi. The next one is SAS UI. Now, real quick, let me just open it. I already have created what I want, but I just want to show you how I got to that point. I have an account actually, a shared account actually, so I had access to the web version, and I took UI shots that I wanted. Same thing here. I just took a couple of screens from here too as well into my Figma board. So that is what you find here. So all the screens I got them from Mobi basically, and that was because I had that saved on my DesignWiz account. It was easy for me to find. Yep. So now what I do know is we're going to be doing something, a analytical dashboard in some sort. It's not an actual product. This is a just UI product showcase that we are going to be doing. So now when it comes to, let's say, recreating screens without any brief or anything like that, what I usually like to do is I like to look at real products, yeah, and know what I want. So I took a couple of screens. So I took from a productivity web app platform, something that has to do with that. I just looked at the interface. Now I like doing this because it allows me to see how real product actually functions, how people actually use it. Because in my head, if people can already use product like this, it only makes sense that I design my own interface to look something similar because they're already used to how it works. So I got my ideas from these guys. Many of these guys, I wanted to know, okay, what I wanted to take, what I wanted to do that is going to be analytical based, that will show numbers, tables, and all that stuff. Yeah, like I said, we're not working on an actual brief, so I'm not going to pretend as if I have one. And then when it comes to landing pages, my go-to is usually I don't have my go-to yet. Sorry, give me a second. My go-to, let me check. I go to resources. Okay, my go-to is that Lakpa. Lately, it has been curated. This guy, I got a couple of UI shots from here. Now, I like piecing ideas from different places to form mine. Sometimes forming your own idea from scratch can be pretty difficult. So this just helps speed track your process, especially when you're working with tight deadlines and the likes. So moving on, that is why I basically got this screenshot. Now, once I have my screenshot and stuff like that, my next thing I usually do is I begin making Figma comments, like notes to myself. And just to also put it into perspective, I also went to Dribble to get some UI shots. So again, just quick way I like to work. I like to go to places like Moving, places like SaaS Inspo to get real life product to, see how things function. And I like to go to places like Dribble, Layers to see aesthetics, see how this dashboard looks and everything. But now let's now see how I dissected this into play. So I have a couple of screenshots I got from Dribble that I liked how it looked like, and I'm like, okay, I think I would like my design to look this good. And let's open a couple of my comments. So I make comments to myself as a note. So example now, I like this analytical layout. I like how this is laid out. I like the card design. So this is me taking notes personally to myself. I like the card design. I saw this and, I like the upgrade to pro banner. I just like this banner for some reason. Sometimes, and this is kind of like my mood board process, in a very simple manner. I like doing this because you never know where you get your idea from, and it could be just one simple thing. I like this menu too as well. Now, when it comes to mood boarding, for me, it can just be one thing that makes me take an entire screen. For example, this was just a menu that attracted me, and nothing else. And I took the entire screen. This was just the color. I just like how the color looked, so I took the entire thing, and yeah. So here I liked this banner because it reminded me of the previous banner too as well, and I liked how it has kind of like a better function basically. Like you can see a total balance and there are call to actions there. And I like this tab design too as well. So this is me just piecing things together. I did the same thing too with the landing page as well. So when I sometimes want to design, I take screenshots and I piece ideas together from different things by making comments. For example, I like the layout of this landing page. I like the this edge border thing with it. And I also like this star-like texture from this landing page. So typically, if I want to design mine, I'll piece 1, 2, 3 ideas into mine, like to make one design, and hopefully we get to do that together. So yeah, so now I have done this note taking and everything. What are my next steps? Typically, I want to identify what I want to have on my dashboard. So I just quickly put this together. So from this UI snapshot from Open I got, I took some things that I would like to showcase. So one of them is project timeline, cash flow, income. I got the idea from profit and loss. Then tax activities, I got the idea from where yes, activity. And then yes, active project or client. So I think I want to do something relating to analytical dashboard for maybe freelancers or entrepreneurs or something in that sense. Again, like I said, I don't have a brief and I'm not going to pretend as if I have one. I'm just piecing together things on the spot. So what did I do next? So the next thing I like to do is what I call low fidelity design, but with screenshots. So I call it low fidelity screenshot design. I don't have a proper name for it yet. So what I did was I took screenshots from like the actual screens and pieced them together. And then you can see them here. For example, look at this. This is a screenshot from this design. Yeah, like I said, I like the menu. So in my head, I want my menu to look like this. I like this top navigation, so I put it there. I like this, I pieced it. I like the analytical side of things. I like it and this. So these are like my core things I want to work with. And if you notice, they are here too. Product timeline would most likely be, I don't know if I'm doing product timeline again. I don't know. But cash flow or income or anything that sort this would kind of represent it. I want to use this to represent it. I just want it to be like maybe like a total balance. There'll be call to actions, maybe like sending invoice, draft a proposal or form. Again, I got the idea from this guy. Yeah, this point. So I liked it. I like how there was like, call to action functions, but I didn't want to represent them this way. This gave me an idea on a different way to represent it. Because I'm imagining these are 1, 2, 3 call to actions. So it's not going to be bad to have a fourth one. But again, let's see how that goes. And for pending tasks and activities, I'm assuming, let's say I'm a freelancer and this is like my home dashboard. I can see my maybe money made, money left, invoice, then activities. So I changed the design to this instead. So this is like what I was saying, like my total cash, send invoice, receive invoice, maybe whatever. Then maybe UI cards to show analytics. And then maybe this table thing here will be for maybe my activity spending tax and things like that, more like little project management and that sort. So again, all these are screenshots I got from all this. piecing ideas together to form one thing. Now, this why I like this because I call it low fidelity screenshot, but it gives me a very high fidelity view of what to expect and how I want my design to look like. It also makes my design decisions faster because now I don't need to think about, oh, how do I want this to look? What do I want to do? I just, by default, I follow what it looks like and I can tweak on the go. So on that note, this is actually what I want to design in a low fidelity screenshot manner. Yeah. And this is actually my process a lot of times when it comes to doing web app layout and even landing pages so as well. Then I just did this to see what it's going to look like in grayscale. Most times I don't really do this, to be honest. So this is like a grayscale print anyway. But now that all this is out of the way, let's actually start designing. So I'm going to head over to a new page. I'll take this guy as my blueprint, and then I'll have another frame where I need to use Rayna component to piece these things together. I like using 1440 as my layout because I assume most laptops have this frame size. My laptop's frame size is actually bigger, so I can't actually use it because it'll be biased. So now, like I said, I like working with Rayna by having the tab separate to my actual work because I'm taking the point of view from being a solo designer, solo freelancer, something of that sort. And again, the great thing about Rayna is that there are UI examples, like even if you don't use like the actual stuff, there are UI examples. And a lot of the times I actually come to the UI examples to see how certain things are laid out and steal ideas from here as well. So this is a safe space for me to steal things and tweak them into what I want. So I'm looking for the menu now. I do know Figma has a search, but for some reason I just like scrolling through manually because I might find something else that might interest me to look at later. But yes, so this sidebars is what I'm going to be starting with. I already have an idea of the sidebar I want. These are the different types of sidebars we have. Rayna has. I want the dark colored one. So I'm just going to copy that, head over here. So again, you might be wondering, why am I doing it like this? So the reason I'm doing it like this is simple. Rayna UI it serves as my component library source. So what that means is, sorry, give me a second. Yes, so Rayna library serves as my component library source. So what that means for me is that I use it as a resource stash to take components and elements to use for projects, and then I can, from what I've gathered from there, is now make a component library system for that unique project because it just makes more sense to me. I'm moving the border radius, keep things the way it is here. I think I want to try the second variant. Yes, try the second variant. I like it because again, it's similar to what I want to do here. So I'll keep this here. Now for top navigation, I'm going to use something from the example so I don't have to design from scratch. Is there a top navigation that looks similar to what I want to do? What is this? Let me see if there's something else. Yeah, I think this one works for me. So I'll copy this one. I'll head over here. I'll paste it. Why is pasting slow? For some reason, what I've copied and pasted is not pasting. Oh, that's pasted. Great stuff. So, it's not exactly what I want, but like I can always tweak it. So I'll just place it here, meantime. I like to design fast, so I like building my layout as fast as I can and then focus on tweaking it much later. Because I can sometimes change my decision midway. I don't spend my time perfecting one's component and then finding out I want something entirely different. So, because again, I do not have Rayna's UI in this particular Figma file, which is how I like to work most times. I am going to be using, there's not going to be typography system I'm going to be using actually. So I'll just manually input things myself. I think I'll use someone else's name. Let me use my name. Which person's name do I use? Oh, Emisha is here. Yes, I'll use Emisha. Here's what's unfolding with for today. And I'm going to this life. So, okay. I'll style these things much later. Again, like I said, typically I should have like the textiles here to like easily choose from, but I do not have that. Again, reason because I don't have access. My Figma plan does not allow me to use Rayna in this particular file, so I'm limited. But this is how I tend to use Rayna in that sort. So here I'll just two things. It's either I, make my own decisions on my type scale, or I would actually go to Rayna's typography system and then decide from here what I want to use, and I'll actually use that size. So I can see the entire thing here, the sizes, these line systems, and I can use that to actually work when I want to. So I'll for now just pick 28. So I'll detach this and have this 28. I'll have this maybe 16. Again, I'll take this again much later. Okay, so for this guy, I'll have to build it by myself. Well, I always like checking Rena first to see if there's something that I can again steal. So there's something fintech related, and this seems to feel like a perfect fit for me. I am just going to take it and I would adjust it to fit what I want. Oh, it even has this. This is so cool because I planned on doing something similar because of this. I like this pattern thing here, and this saves me a lot. This is what I like, Rena. Um, so I'll throw this here. Let me see if I scale it a little bit. I'll figure that one out later. Yes, now so for cards, matrix cards. I have an idea of what I want my matrix card to contain. So yes, so I took this extra screenshot to again piece my ideas together. So example, I'm piecing all these three screenshots together, meaning I'm replacing total balance to profits and loss, and I'm replacing this thing here to be call to action that will lay out here. So this is how I think. Then this, I'm replacing the idea of activities like this. I'm merging it to this, so it is going to be in a similar fashion, but it's going to be having activities and responsibilities and tasks, that kind of thing. Then here, this I want to use for my analytic cards. I'm going to be checking on build hours, on build amount, build hours, build amount, and it's anything I want to steal from me, I just kind of take it. Again, we're not working with the brief, so I'm just making up stuff. So let me go to the metric card section. Because I want. I like this view report thing because from what I'm thinking about, most use cases you'd want to, in situations we would automatically design in anyway, users would want to have a few detailed reports, especially when it has to do with financing, accounting, and things of that sort. So I'll just use, I'm indecisive. Yeah, I'll use this one. I can always change it. I don't even know why I took a lot of time to decide. Yes. So this is the kind I'm going to be working with. I can always change it on these panels here. I want to change something. Okay. Yes, I think I'll start with the design here and do the table later. So first things first, let me try to get myself the kind of top notification I want. So I want my background to be white because I want my elements to, I don't know, I'm gonna change that. Okay, so my search bar, I want to put this, sorry, I think I'll let put the stroke to it. I want to put the stroke to it. I don't know what color we did. Give me a second. Then I'll use Rayna icon here. This is notifications. This is fine. I don't need the profile, so I'll delete that. Control X, Control Shift R. I think settings will be here, so I don't need anything here again. I need the call to action. I don't need the call to action there. So I think I'm good here. I think I'm good. No, I don't want this color. So let me manually go to Rayna now and see what I might work with. So in a situation where you do not have, again, like I said, you don't have access to having Rayna embed into your different pages to work with. Again, this just tends to be like my source of truth. You get where I come to see certain codes and use them for myself manually. And also when I need to maybe make documentations for a new project, I come to Rayna to see how the documentations are made and use it as my guide to make my own documentations for a client project. And in the meantime, I want to work with this. So I'll just copy this color code. Yeah, fine with that. I don't know if I want this thing to be white. That's the problem. Let me see. Okay. I think I'll use this color code for now. Let me see how that would look like. Okay, I'm liking this. How close am I to what I want? I think I'll keep this the way it is and then move on to the next part. I have this medium. Let me add an emoji. Okay, Shift A. I'll just keep this 8. Then color code. I would use green 900 from Rayna. And same thing here, green 900. And I don't think I'll use green 900 here. Use 600. That is lighter. Yeah, I think this is fine with me. Now, how do I try to replicate this? So now to do. First of all, create an entire new frame inside this my first frame. So that my components and what I work on here sits perfectly into this. Yes. Okay. I call this components container. Yes. Now let's put my stuff back inside. That way, if I move this, I can easily adjust things here. What I would like to do now is add padding to it. Shift A. Pattern I want. I think 32 is fine with me. Yes. The element I put here will just have that unwanted padding here on top too. think top 32 is fine by me too. I'll adjust the spacing much later. Now let's make this fill. At the same time, I need this other part to fill. I'll scale out this. This is 100 means to learn something from Rayna's example. Obviously, I need to make adjustments anyway. So I'll bring something over from here. Like I said, this is what I want to have other sides are copied. So that's for me to see. So I'll probably call this profit and loss, or last 6 months. I'll just call it total profits first. Profits. And this is the amount. Something I want to have like this to know if it's like it's going up or coming down because I feel like that's useful information. I'm going to steal that from Rayna's component. Oh, another thing I actually do a lot is I piece things together from Rayna, like that I like. So you see what I'm saying right now. Just copy this again. So example, I want to have this, but I originally do not want to tweak Rayna's metrics to form what I want. Reason is because from the example, I saw this is closer to what I want to achieve. Rather than tweaking this to get this, I just tweak this and add something from here. So this is what I want. I want to take this in and add it there. I'll touch this because I'm not going to be using the entire thing. I just want this. And now that I have it, I'll bring this outside so I have freedom to do what I want. So first off, I want this to replace this. Yes, and then I like the fact that there's this icon here for me to know if shift A and center this. Yes, I don't even want to have this here. I think about it later. Okay. And I think I'm close to what I want. Yeah, I'm actually pretty close to what I want. Now I want to have this. You can cheat currencies. You can change the month and what's not. Where should that be? Because cut options are going to be here. Meantime, let me just go and take something from the buttons. Render buttons. Let me just set it. Okay. I want these buttons. I prefer this. I want the ones with the icons because my blueprint has icons with them. So this is going to be send invoice. Create proposal. I can spell my proposal. And then create contract. I think I just want 3. I don't want to add form. Contract. Contract. Yes, I think I'm fine with this. And this to be here, and this one to sit. at this point. Control X, Control V. Let me see. I think I would like to. I don't know. I think I would like the buttons to be white instead. I think I'll put that one later. So in the meantime, yeah, I think this works for now. So I'm just going to replace this. I'll remove this actually. Don't think I want this anymore. What I now want is drop downs, accordions. I think this works for me. So you find this under chips. This is what I want to use to get this. But I don't need the icons. So I'll toggle icon off and I'll change this to G. Okay, so USD. I'm assuming you have to drop down and maybe change the currency to GDP, what's not. Then this one is going to be its last month. So if I maybe filter by last month, last 6 months, last 90 days, or last 12 months, something that's what. Okay. Now is where do I want to put it? I think I'll have to adjust the height, I guess. Because typically, I would have want to have that here, or I'm not sure. Don't add any that in here. Decisions. Oh, I could have it outside. I'll have it outside. So, yes, I have it outside. Please, this. Yes, I think I'm getting there. A few container, move it to the left. Yes. Then move on to this guy. Okay, I have a matrix card, so this one goes off. So for my matrix card, let me bring that screenshot that I have. Yes, so this is what I want to use as basis for the matrix card. So I like the UI style of this card, where there's a feel and the stuff is inside. This one is actually close to it. That's what I'm thinking. I think I would like this to go up. So now because it's a component, I'm able to switch this in from bottom up. And the only way to do that from now is like go to the main component and make the adjustment. But why go to the main component to make the adjustment? But does that mean that you want all your matrix card to work with look like that? So for flexibility for me, what I should like do is certain situations like this, I would detach the component to work with. Especially when it is even a client project, because I don't want to have one same thing every single time I'm working on a project. So this is situations where I make like tiny tweaks from the original component. Again, the idea for Rayna is to help you move faster, and you don't have to constrain yourself to the way it is exactly. So yes, now that I've moved, and I think I like this because it's in a way imitating this style for me. That's why I want to keep it this way. So now first thing I'll have is I want build amount. Build amount. Well, now that I think about it, let me duplicate this. Now this at the bottom. I want to change the style a little bit. I realized that having the clickable section at the top I don't think that it's probably new, but I'm not sure because it's not something that is common, so it might be difficult for users to understand that, or you click at the top of the card, because again, because of what is being in use and kind of product you use, mental model will tell you to click at the bottom, but not as a top. It's going to mean like you have to learn it, and I don't want to stress potential users like that. So I'll just stick to this few components. I'll remove this. I'm just trying to have this layout. That's just what I'm just trying to do. I'll probably change the colors so that this is clear that this is clickable and this section is not, and it just only border. So I'll make this 12. I'll reduce this to 12. Let me see what it looks like if I use 8. Too small. So I'll work with 12 instead, and I'm fine with this now. I will still tweak the colors a little bit, but that'll be later. I just want to first of all build my layout so I can move faster. So first metric card done. Second one is going to be build hours. So this is going to be time. I don't know if so in a typical use case, I might want to have something that compares to like your last build time. I don't know if maybe it shows that you're doing things faster or something. So that might work. But again, for the sake of what we're doing right now, I can't really think through the process. So I'll just take it off. I'll make this fixed height for now. Yes. Okay. Then what's the next thing? Build hours, unbuild amounts. So I'll just change the stuff. I have the 2 main stuff ready already. Shift A, Control D, move, Control D. Okay, so I want these guys to be here. So now make sure this feels container. Then I have to adjust. I want to use 24. I think I'll use 20. Use 20 instead. So I'm actually using 4-point grid system. I like using 4-point grid system when it comes to web apps, and because it allows me make my increments can be smaller rather than using 8 because it's 2 times 4 points. So I use 20, and now I have to set every single one to fill container so they all adjust into what I've set to be. Now on that note, I'm also going to change this guy from 32 to 24. Yes, and I'll make this guy field container again. Okay, much better now. I have not fixed my spacing here, but this is 20, which I'm not even complaining about. Next thing now for me is, do I want to have more matrix card? Let me see if there's any matrix card that I might just add for UI sake from this. No, it's not this one I'm looking for. I can't remember what the name is because I'll search it. Oh yes, charts. Let me see what chart. Oh, another cool thing about Rayna is that sometimes you might not know exactly what you want to use here. These examples on these panels, on this documentation, really helps me a lot. Give context to how I can use some of the charts here. For example, I like this, and I can see how to use it if I don't know what I need to do with it from here. Yes, so I think I might work with a bar chart. I think I'll work with a bar chart. I'll take this and I'll add it here. But now it's not complete. I can't just, put it there like that. It doesn't tally with my entire, UI direction that I'm going for. And thank God.
Okay, are you still speaking? Can anyone hear me? Am I the problem? Okay, so let me see. Gaga's network. Yeah, I figured. Let's just give him a couple of minutes to join back. I'm sure it's network issues.
Hi guys. Sorry for the interruption. My
Welcome
network.
back.
Thank you. So let me go back to my screen. Yes. Please thumbs up if you can see my screen and you can hear me audibly. Hey. Can you guys see my screen? Okay. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Ayotunde. Just a second. All right. Yes, so I was saying I wanted to, make better this bar chart in here. And I'm using the example on Rena's documentation on the chat section to help me design it. So I'm going to copy it, bring this one out, paste, just to see. I'm not sure I put anything. But this is how this one looks like. So whenever I design, I always sometimes try to first of all think about the easier approach to how I might design something. And this is what I want to try now. If it works, I'll be glad. So I want to do this, but I want to have it in the same style as this matrix card I had on. So first step is to idea will just put you to create this stuff yourself. But no, I am lazy designer. It works. I've tried to see if I can keep it so that I've already done before. And yes, it works. It just makes it faster for me. It worked, so I just yeah, but to be reports, then there has to be like filter and export SCV something. I'll use this that I've already worked on here, so you can track that by that. Now, if you say like if you don't have like a more complete system, again, Rayna just it does help you with a lot of ideas and examples, so you can see this. You can be how you want to design it and just tweak it a little bit more. So I'll duplicate this Shift Control R and Shift A. I'll turn this one to auto so it goes all the way to the far end. Yes, I think I'm fine. I don't need this one at the bottom, by the way. So just double check that, yes, correct. So I think that's what I'll do. And there we go. I should try to fill container. All right. Okay. I think I'll just work with it for now. So I'm going to expand my screen so that I can actually show, for myself. I still want to have, excuse me, I still want to have like activity table stuff to track of it and all. Again, just for context, with real-time projects, you might not necessarily have like these reports and all this matrix card displayed. Yeah, I'm doing this just so that you have an idea of how you can actually do that to achieve what you want. In a possible typical real-life project, I mean, look at the examples from my screenshot I have here. So these are actually like real examples of product. You can see how the views are a lot simpler, a lot straight to the point, and what's not. And the ones that even have like extra, you have to like scroll down to get them, and that's fine. But what is always important when it comes to working on projects, especially web app interfaces, is understand what is important for the users to see and design for that. You don't have to cover every single thing. So now I'm going to have my table underneath this, and I want to have this like this. No, I don't want to have that like this. Do I want to have this on the top? No, I don't want to have the top. Yeah, and also understand that there are also different possible layouts you can also represent this. It doesn't have to be like this. I could do this 3-4 different ways, to show variety of how this is represented. But I'm just trying to go with this for this particular session. Now I want to have my table. So again, go to Rayna. I go to the examples because there are a lot of tables there, and I just find the one that fits. So I want a table that has like a checkbox kind of thing because you can checkbox. I like this one. This from the solar examples. Let me see the other ones that I can steal from. I like this one because it has liquid. Let me see other ones. Oh, I like this one. Now I don't know what to decide. Let me look at my blueprint to know what I want. This I want something that covers. Oh, it's very simple. Just kind of like tax management. So it will have the title, the date, and status. So 3 fields is fine. So going to Rayna and taking one of the examples. Let me see if I take this one. What that might look like. Okay. Yes. So from these examples, I can make adjustments. Can I? So I want it to have name, date. This is like that. Status. Let's see. I want to change this to badge. Yes, this is my status. Not just what I can do. Can have avatar groups. Can have progress bar. Ooh. I'm tempted to add progress bar, but no, that's fine. I think just badge is fine. I don't need this. I lied. Progress bar. So yeah, so this is actually what I'm going to do. I'll move this here. I'll have the date come forward. I don't see the need for the more actions. Maybe I want to delete the action or something like that. So I'll just leave this. Just leave this here. Something is. Am I the only one seeing this purple line? I have no idea where it's from. Okay. Still there. I'm just going to ignore it. I'm just going to ignore that purple line right now. Okay. So where is my? This is what I want to bring. Okay, so this will be. I'll just copy the what's called imitate the copy structure that's here. Review. Oh no, let's call it audit and web app, something like that. Just keep the date to this date 2024 03 22. Status will be ongoing. So the idea for this table is to show ongoing features. You can filter anyway by ongoing and status types and what's not. Then project status. Project status. Progress. So I'm assuming this progress bar here, use case might be, you can actually click on this entire thing to expand it, similar to how you might work with ClickUp. And you can put subtags in this, because this is like, in my head, I'm assuming this is like an overall tags view. If you click on it, you can see subtags, and is that subtags that would identify. As you check the checkbox in the subtags, the progress bar increases. You can see how much work you've done while it's still ongoing. So at least you have some sense of progress that you have done. So yeah. Okay, so this is actually what I'm going to work with. Oh, thank you. This is ongoing. Arigato. So now I'll just copy this and replace Shift Control R, and I'll just do the same thing for the rest. I'm not really going to bother about content right now. First, I didn't copy. Shift Control R. Same thing. C. Maybe I'll have this one say pending. Yes. Check the variety. Typically, I have the colors even change as well, but I'll come back to that. Yes. So yeah, I think I'm fine with this. Next, we typically be changing the content to like really fit what I want. But again, I like moving fast, so I actually now just change this to activity tags. Activity tags. Okay. So let's see how this fits into the entire design. Let me see if I duplicate this. Oh, my height is set to fixed. Set my height to hug. Oh yes. Yeah. Much better. Basically, I already have achieved the kind of layout structure I want from here to this. Next steps now will be to clean it up again, top to bottom. That would mean double checking every single thing from colors to shadows. For example, now this component here has shadow. This one does not seem to have shadow, and I now have to decide if I want to keep the shadows or not. Let me confirm that it has shadows. It has shadows. And we can actually copy the shadows. So I just highlighted them by holding shift and clicking on this side. Copy, and oh, it has shadows too, but it wasn't just turned on. Oh, it has shadows. But typically, if it did not have shadows, let's take this off. I could click on it when I copy it from somewhere and paste. And yes, now it has the shadows that every other one has. So I don't have to manually impute the shadows myself. And I think I'll add the shadows here because it's subtle. Yes. So yes, that is fine with me. I'm just going to move these ones to this corner so we can see the look of what we have going on here. Yeah. So from a layout perspective, I've kind of like covered what I want things to look like. What will be left is changing the content, putting the right icons, fine-tuning the spacing, using colors I want to work with. And in a situation where this is like a natural client project, what I will actually do is once I'm done with all this, and I want to have, let's say component library or style guide, the first can work with and everything. Again, because I can't always pass, excuse me, even if I work with from Rayna's library, I can't always pass this to, every client project, because not all client projects will have the same color styles. Not all client projects may have the same shadows and blurs. Not all projects will have the same spacing grid to use, and all these things. There's some things that might stay the same that you just have to constantly use. That's actually fine. I didn't have to make it to the empty state. But again, all these things for me serve as source of truth. So what I usually would do is, now that I have like my screen and I've cleaned it up, I will now begin to take my elements. So I would take out the buttons. If I make any unique adjustment to them, maybe depending on the UI design, or maybe requests from that actual specific project. And if it means me to detach, I will detach. And by the time I've added the extra thing into it, I will now create it as a fresh component. And I will use Rayna as my cornerstone to help me make a documentation for this. I'll use Rayna as my source of truth to make documentation for that own component library for that particular client project. So now this is how Rayna UI has it. So I would use this to model to get mine. Since I'm deriving things from here, I will study the documentations, use this to educate myself to make documentation for that specific project. Again, every project can be unique. So this is how I tend to use Rayna UI beyond just using it to design. I also use it to help make documentations, component library systems for specific projects and likes. So even down to colors, obviously colors will change. From if you use the if you embed Rayna UI into your specific Figma page, you have your Figma allows you for that. That's easier for you to just change the color and have everything going. If you don't have that, if you're like me right now, who, you're just working solo and you're picking things directly from Rayna, what I usually do is I'll not pick out these colors. For example, things like the grayscale colors might stay. The neutral grays will stay the same way for me. If I'm making any tweaks to the tints, for example, let me just copy this so you see what I mean. Let me just put it in the new page. Yeah. So let's see. Because right now, this grease, I'll just detach it so you see. This grease has a hue, a blue hue, this blue hue. Now, you might be working with the project that the color palette is green-ish, and you want to grayscales to have that. So, for example, let me take this. Let me pick this color so you see what I mean. Now, the hue of this is 187. So I like working with HSBs rather than hex codes. But I'll copy the hex code now so you see what I mean. So this is the hex code. This is the hue, saturation, and brightness. Now, every color has its own different hue. So now, again, you can see from here that the hue for this is 218. What I'll do is, if I want to have my grayscales have a tint of green, I just change, so 187, I just change the hue, and now it has this, and I can make the adjustment here. And all I need to do is just highlight each and every one of them, detach, change to 187, and they would carry everything, as it's done from Rayna. But the only thing that changes is the hue, which is, the maybe brand color you're working with at that time. And that's fine, even down to this guy. Let's see. 187. Yes. So this is not the same. Let me see if I can show what that looks like. Yeah, this is so Control X, Control Z. It doesn't do Z. C187. Has it changed? Okay, yes. So it's very subtle actually, sir. You might not be able to tell the difference. But this is the one with the green tint. This one doesn't have the green tint. But if you put them side by side, like if I zoom out, you can't even tell the difference. But if I zoom in and I put it close, if I put them together, well, you might not be able to see the difference from my core, but if you can, that was great. So it's a very subtle difference. But anyway, this is how I like to use to help myself with making documentation, style guides, and everything. And I just took all this, make a separate stuff for it and use it like that. But yeah, that's that about this. I would like to move on to what I have planned next. I do not want to spend the extra time doing this cleanup because it will take that will take like an extra longer time to do. I'll probably do that maybe more later and share the design with the community so we can see how that looks like final touch. But I think now I will be open to take questions before, and if there's time, I can now quickly work on the hero section. How does that sound?
All right, that sounds very, very good. So, you've been designing for the past, give or take 1 hour. That's like a lot. So right now, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute your mic and ask, or you can type it in the chat box. So very quickly, any questions, just feel very, very free and ask your questions. You could raise your hand if you want. You just unmute your mic and go ahead and speak. Any questions? Does someone try to speak? Okay, it seems we don't have any question. But at any point in time, if you want to ask a question, just feel free to type it in the chat box and we'll definitely get to it. So, Ogaga, I think you can go on. You can continue.
Okay, sure. So The next thing I would like to touch on is doing a hero section, using Rayna basically. And like I said, how I got to this point is I first looked at mood boards. I always like doing mood boards via research. You see, what I want to do, piece ideas together from these individual things to form my own unique idea. And I make notes. I make notes on my paper, but for sake of this, I made notes on the design itself. Sometimes I use sticky notes on the stuff for any more detail I want to do. So I'm going to piece this with this, and hopefully this texture. So I want the texture from here. I like the button styles from here. Yes, I'll show that right now. And then I also like the layout from here. So I'm taking the layout here, taking the button style here, taking the texture here, all together to one. And how do I get my inspiration? Well, I go to DesignWiz. I go to DesignWiz, mydesignwiz.com, and it's a library. So it houses a lot of resources, inspirations, and whatnot. And from DesignWiz and my bookmarks, because you can bookmark stuff and just easy for you to find, where you need your stuff, rather than have to manually remember them, have like 200 tabs open. I mean, I still do it anyway. So these are still my guys. So for web apps, I use SaaS App Design Inspiration, Dribble. For landing pages, I use Curated, which you can find on DesignWiz, and I also use Lab. I also use Lab Ninja, which you can also find from DesignWiz. So you can also find other cool things too here. And every week we tend to update it with new stuff that would be helpful for yourself. So you can also check out my DesignWiz, create an account, have your bookmarks there, make your life easy. Yeah. So moving back to Figma. Once again, I am going to make my frame, F on my keyboard, 1440, and I'm going to be taking stuff from Rayna. Yes, thank you. Hola. Oh, yeah. Yes. So again, this is the layout I want. I want to have this border-like thing here, and that's what I'm going to do now. So let me just use the gray here in the meantime. I have put F on my keyboard to create a frame. Give it a very contrasting color so I can see a spacing element. I don't know. Let me see. I want it to be 20 spacing because this is 26. This is, I don't know. Let me see. 32, 29, 26. I'll fix that one later. But right now, give it the border radius. Let me see, 32. It's too much. 20? Yeah, it's too much. 16. Yeah, this is fine. I don't like this 32 spacing. It's too big. Yeah, 24 is fine. I'd like to have 24 around. I'll adjust that one later. So now that I have that done, again, this is the layout I want. I'm adding a second frame because I want to have. So I like this layout, but I also want to have this. So this particular inspiration here. There's like a main, this which is black, and there's like this container where things are added, which is the hero section, how it is done. So if I'm to exactly replicate what this looks like, this is how it is. This is how it is. This was how to cut it. So it's like a frame in a frame. Yeah, so a frame in a frame. And I'm not using grids right now because I'm more of a rulers person. I like using rulers, and because I've worked with grids for a while, so I kind of use my eye a bit until when I'm doing like my final cleanup, then I use grids to now do perfection. Now the reason for that is because I did that in the other design. Yes, I did that in the other design because if I did not do that, these things can be messy. So now what I want to do, if I'm working on a new page, all I need to do is I can take this out separately. Yeah, keep it to you. Work on this because a lot of times in web apps, think about it, in web apps, there's the menu side, and there's this entire part. This entire part is its own frame, and a lot of the changes happen here. The menu side is just the menu buttons, or rather the menu side being active. Like, it's as easy as that. Once you design one, put it in components, do the different active state and all, you're typically done. This is where the is. Rather than me always having to duplicate this entire thing, I just duplicate this section, put my workings here, and then I can always now put the component container back into what I want and how I want it to be. Plus, that way I cannot mess my designer because everything is in just this separate framing itself. I can put my border, do my grids separately here. So grid in the entire thing is different from grid in just this section. So if you're working grids, it also helps you make your spacing element grid system much better. Hope that answers your question. Yes, so back to what I want to do. Yes, I'm going to Rayna actually. And Rayna has headers, footers. So I am going to take something from the navigation part. This note I'm looking for. Let me see. Oh, headers. Yes. Headers. I like this header. This header just seems to work perfectly for what I want. And I like this one too, because it's dark. So I'm going to, let me change the colors back. So this is going to stay gray. Now, for the landing page, everything is going to sit in this border container, because again, that is the direction I'm going for from what I have taken from my inspiration. I don't know if it's not going up. Okay, yes. Fill container. No fill. So I'll just manually resize it myself. I think I would like this to be a dark color. I like this to be a dark color. Let me go to Rayna and see which one I like. I like this dark blue. So I'll just copy it. I'll paste it. I could have taken the color from there anyway, but just in case. It's gray 900, so I could either go to Rayna's colors, take the gray 900 and make use of it, or just use here. That would mean I have to change the colors here. So our dark colors, I change them to white. What else? Yes, these dark colors, I change them to white. White. Oh, no, that's wrong. Yes. I might change the color later, but right now I'm fine with this. It's giving me the kind of contrast that I want. Now, next thing is this layout. I want this layout. Because I do not have ideas for what I want to copy. I could either use ChatGPT, myself copy, but right now let me just work with this. So is it? Oh, let me use it. Let me get information to base of this. So this is for freelancers. Okay, now I know what I'll do. Unified freelancers platform. That's what I call it. Unified freelancers platform. So again, I want this layout. I like this layout. I want my text section to look like this. So meaning it's centralized. That's the idea of what I'm saying that I want from this. And I'm going to use, again, take all my colors from Rayna. Primary color would be this guy. So I'll just pick the color code. Yes. I will change it from semi-bold to medium. Shift A to give it a border around. Give it a fill. Now I want that fill color to be light. So I'll take this and then Control V. Yes, this is what I want. I will make this 12 and 8 with a border radius of 16. Yep, that's what I want. Centralize it. Now I want my big text. Manage payments. No, I don't know what to call it though. Manage profits and clients all in one. So copy time. Manage project all in one, right? Oh, nonsense. Forgive my copy. So again, heading over to Rayna, I want to use a big display. This is 56, and I think I'll try this. So I'll just take exactly this, size 56, line 900, data spacing -4. It's already in Inter, so size 56. Let me just give it a black for now. I think I will make it bigger. 56. Money provision. Okay, I like this. Already make it bigger. Let's make it 70. Yes, I like this. Do I make it semi-bold? No. Feels chunky. I'll keep it this. Then line height can be 100 because it is not a display. And I use bigger size from that already. But let me change this to letter spacing to -4 pixels. Let me see. Okay. I'm fine with this actually. I'll just make it -3. Then I'll reduce the line height because the bigger the typography, the smaller the line height. The smaller the typography, the bigger the line height. So this is big typography, automatically smaller line height. So I'll take it to about 1. I like using percent. I'll take it about to 125, 130. I'll use 130. I'm fine with that. And then for body, I don't know what to do for body. I'll just go and take something from Rayna's documentation. Getting started. Yes. I'll just copy this as my body text. And then okay. Yes, I think this is fine by me. And what I'll do now is Shift A, center line. I'll come to spacing later. Right now I'm just building the layout. I need button. I head over to Rayna. And I want to use the big buttons this time. I used the smaller ones last time. I'll use this one. And paste. I'll just call this primary call to action or what would be a typical? Let me see what these guys have. This one does not have buttons, so I think I started for free. This one's a book with them. Okay, I think I'll just get started for free. Get started now. Because I have made documentation. I like this branded button and the icon. I am not going to start thinking about what do I want this to look like and everything. I'll just 100% make it that way. And I can have a different style of button. it looks exactly like this. And for me to do that, I'll actually have to, let me see. Oh, okay. I don't have to detach. Give me a second. So I want to try to have this style of button because I really, really like it. I want to see if it's going to be a good use case here. So again, increase this, but it's going to be too difficult for me. So let me just detach and try to create that myself. Oh, I see. So this will have to come outside. Yes, it has to be different. It has to be not being the same thing. So I'll move it here. Then I can scale this one. Scale this on the size. So I'm scaling it manually, but at the same time, it's not working. Because of the auto layout here, I'll need to adjust the auto layouts in these guys. And that will really take my time. I said I want to do it from scratch by myself. Then it's possibly easier to do. I'll abandon the idea, probably come back to it later, or do it on my own time and then show you guys what that looks like. Then okay, we'll have two call to actions. Second one going to be a secondary one, which is a demo. A demo. This is supposed to be an outline button. Let me see. So again, this so sometimes you will not have the liberty to making quick switching from your own Figma because you don't have the Rayna UI stuff. So you might have to, again, I'm just showing you guys like a lot more manual process to using this. So I brought this guy here. This same button. Oh, sorry, I picked the wrong button. Yes. Ctrl+Shift+R. I'll just copy my text. Ctrl+Shift+V. And then copy the radius and paste it. Ctrl+X. Ctrl+Shift+R. Hold Shift. Auto layout. I'll fix spacing later, but just right now give it 32. Add it to this. And there we go. We're getting there. Now what I want is to have like something that will have what's it called? Representation of the interface. Because again, I'm using this layout. Two ways I could either use this format for this layout where it is text here, button here, information assets here, but actually like this a lot. So let's go and take some elements from the web app that we did. Take this matrix card. Oh, okay. I'll take the entire thing first. Let me take the entire thing. Ctrl+V. And then close up. Now I want to have it kind of like, look like a dashboard frame thing there. Give the entire thing is border radius. It look like now add a stroke. Very big stroke. I just want to see that it is working. 20. I'm trying to create like a frame. 16. I don't want it to be full black. Hopefully, let's see. Again, you can always make adjustments on the go. I do not always like pushing for perfection the very first instance I'm designing. I just like to get my thoughts out of the way, get my ideas out of the way, implement them, see how it looks. Then I can, during cleanup, I can now have it fit what I want a lot better. So this seems to be a small problem. Okay. So now my stroke is covering distance. So I think I'm assuming I know the problem. My stroke is inside, so I'll put it outside. So yes, now it is putting everywhere. And then we'll change it to 8, maybe 4. Depends on what you're really going for. Yes, I think I like 4, which is fine. But now, yeah. So I'll move this element up, so that this one can have space to show. Yeah, this is probably fine by me. Now I have built the layout using Rayna. I have my menu. So don't give me a second. I want to use something from Rayna Colors. I like this circle. I want something dark here. What this is no, it's not going to work. Don't it work. Oh, let me take this hue and replace the hue. This is 218. Let me replace this hue to 218. Still bright. Make it darker. Okay, I feel like this is fine. Maybe, or I should make it light gray. Maybe. I don't know. Sometimes making certain newer decisions can be pretty tricky. But I'll just move on from this. I'll change the button styles here to take the kind of border radius that we want. So it's full peel type. Yes. So I'm comfortable with this layout right now. What will be left for me now is to make final touches. Things like so again, this, you can see my inspiration at the top here. You can see my result. You can see how it is different. Although I was inspired by these different elements, this layout, these things, but you can see how I have been able to uniquely have my own idea much faster. So now my design looks a lot more like this, but with its own uniqueness to it. If I want to add extra touch to it, I can come here to get some extra ideas. For example, I can try to have this gradient line added to mine if I want. I want to do this texture, but I don't know if I have the time for that. Do I still have time for anything at all? Because I am good with the layout I have built right now from this. I think I can replace this. Sorry, I just had an idea. I want to take this gray. And I want to have this body. Take this gray. And then this will take white. It's subtle. Let me take something else. Let me take this one. Gray 100. Gray 100 did not work. But I'll be able to get something that I like. It's soft to share. I think I prefer it the other way around, where this is white. So I'll just change it back. I thought it was going to look good. So this is the reason why I don't really shoot for perfection first time, because a lot of times ideas might change. So I don't want to get stuck up on one particular idea and not move on from it. So I think I'm fine with something like this. So yes, I have built the layout for the landing page. And like I said, what next to be adding textures, adding clean up my spacing, doing some other fancier stuff to make it what I want, make it what I look like. But yeah, I don't think I have the time for that chat. But the floor is open for questions, comments, feedback, and what's not. I'll most likely clean up these designs, and I'll showcase them so you guys can see what it looks like. Thank you, Aya. Thank you. Hope it was insightful. Hope you learned something, and maybe something you can try out in your process as well. But yes, thank you.
Amazing. Please let's put our hands together for our esteemed guest, Ogaga John. I like the emojis. Thank you so much for this in-depth session. Thank you so much for your time as well. So please, questions. This is the time for it. This is the time for questions. All right, we have a question from Ayo. You said you are not a grid person. So how do you achieve padding on your frame?
First that comes to my mind is that is why Rayna is there. So the team have spent their time, really fine-tuning, padding, spacing, and the rest. So if you notice when I was doing the landing page, I did not bother myself with trying to figure out what padding space to use for my button. It's a different thing if I want to use something different. I know what I want to use and use something different, that's fine. But I did not, so I just work with what Rayna already, give me. Now when it comes to grids, typically, I just come to Rayna and I just use the grid system they have. I can tweak it if I have something specific. Okay, I'm coming. This is trying to find the grid. Okay, this is the grid. Yeah, so this is the grid system Rayna has. And you can have to work with this particular grid system and use it for yourself. Yeah, but other than that, I like using rulers and most times because I'm building things from a point of am I cool with the layout? Grids tend to come in much later. So for example, now that I'm done this, I can now say, okay, let me turn on my grid system. Let me add grid to this to make all the fine tuning really clean and all. But because I want to get something going, get my idea out of the way, I build this and I'm good to go. I can now fine tune by adding grids, add my spacing, figure out what spacing I want to use, or just go to Rayna and use what the Rayna has already, put together for easy work. I don't know if that answers your question. I think Emmanuel has a question for me. His hand is up. I can see it.
Yeah, Emmanuel Ubu, please kindly unmute your mic and ask your question.
Okay. Good evening. Can you guys hear
Hi,
me?
good evening. Yeah.
Yeah, loud.
Yeah, all right. So quickly, my question is around style guide. So previously you said something around you cannot, forgotten the exact word you used, but you said you cannot duplicate Rayna's UI like style guide to your Figma file, something like that. My question is around, I just want to know if I'm doing it the right way. So basically, when I want to use like the style guide or design system, I copy out the if you on the right panel, you see the style guides, right? So I
Yes.
just cut it. I cut it and paste it in my file, basically.
Yeah, that's
So the style guide.
that's fine. Does it work for you?
Yeah, it does, but I don't know if there's like a better way because I don't think you
Well, like I
mentioned
said,
doing that way.
the only better way is you have a Figma plan that allows you embed, design systems that you have like Rayna in your file. So that way you don't need to, cut it into, your file manually. If you do have like a Figma plan for that, then that's like a better way. But for the constraints from Figma, like I myself, like I've been doing, I even did on this particular session, I manually was copying the codes to use, and sometimes I can tweak these codes to fit what I want, and maybe now from there use it to build a style guide specifically for that project at the end of the day.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Someone else has their hands up.
Yeah, Samson, Abimbola Samson.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So I wanted to ask concerning colors, right? I saw Rayna UI have their color styles from 50 to like 900. So I wanted to ask, like, in terms of when we have a brand color, right, and when we want to apply them based on using our colors for the text and the one we want to use for gray, and the one we want to use like applying our brand colors. Like, how do you know that, okay, I'll use 500 for this, then you know that, okay, this is not coming up, this type of color is not coming up too strong, or this one is all right in terms of our textiles for normal text, and the one that we want to use for our button, just in case we want to do like visual hierarchy.
Well, how do I say that? So, in all honesty, personally, I don't necessarily know all the time at first instance what color would work best, especially for like grayscales. So I don't know if you noticed where you saw me pick one particular grayscale and I'm like, oh no, I don't like it, it's too light, and I picked another one. So a lot of times you can find yourself in that situation, and that's actually very when a situation where, for example, you know one, let me say I know I want to use gray 500 for my icons, and it works and it's fine. If I want to pick another grayscale, question is, do I want it to be darker or do I want it to be lighter? Then the next question is, which one do I want to have more hierarchy? If I want the darker one to have more hierarchy, which is obvious, I will pick a darker color. And how will I do that? So let's say I pick 500. My next darker color would not be 600 because you'll be able to tell the difference. My next darker color will either be 700 or an 800 because the color difference between the shade difference between this and this is very clear and very obvious. So that way, automatically the darker shade has more hierarchy compared to the lighter shade. But if I want 500 to be the higher hierarchy and the other color to be a lower hierarchy, I will pick 2 steps down. So 1, 2. So I'll pick 300 for a lighter shade, 300 or 200 for a lighter shade. So it's always, depending on, find your middle ground first and then know, do you want it to go higher or lower? If it's higher, 2 steps up. If it's lower, 2 steps down from your middle ground. And how do you know higher or lower? It's depending on what you want to have more hierarchy. You get. So I hope that's the question.
Yeah, thank you.
Are there any more questions for me?
Yes, someone asked, someone said, good evening. Please, I came late to this class due to network issues and I missed everything. So basically, the person is asking if the person can get access to the recording. So why I'm actually repeating that question is because most people might not know, but after every episode, the recordings are usually uploaded on Rayna UI YouTube page. So you can go to our YouTube page and watch our past episodes, and you can as well stay tuned for the recording from this particular session. So I hope that must have answered your question, Kingsley.
Yeah.
So if you have more questions, bring it up. Or if we do not have any more questions, this is where we will draw our curtains. So once again, thank you everybody, especially John Gaga, for teaching us, basically, for showing us how powerful Rayna UI is, and doing it in detail and very, very concise approach and manner. We really, really appreciate your time, and we hope to see you more often, perhaps in our other episodes. And then for every single one of us who made out time, today is Friday. I'm sure a lot of us have friends who are outside. This is Friday, but then we made our time to be in this space, in this session. Thank you to every single one of you. And we hope, due to some issues last week, general network consensus last week, we were not able to have this session last week. That's why we moved it over to this week. So it's usually every 2 weeks. After every 2 weeks, then this session happens on Friday by 8 p.m. So you can tell a friend that Rayna UI have a series that happens every 2 weeks. So do well to check out our social media on Twitter and follow us as well, and keep us updated on your journey with designing with Rayna UI. Thank you everyone, and have a wonderful evening. Bye.